So, someone at work was talking about these pickleballs from Vlask. It looks like they're doing their version of chips. I mean, it's nothing new. There's already such a thing as pickle flavored or dill flavored chips, and Vlask is doing their version. This is like those little Cheeto balls or those what do you call it? Those mimics of the Cheeto balls, but it's pickle flavor. And they're green. And they smell like pickles. They really smell like pickles. And it tastes like the flavor of a pickle. They're not good, but they're not bad. It's like, I'm pretty sure a good amount of people have been through this before, where they ate stuff that it wasn't good, it wasn't bad, but you couldn't help but eat it. This is one of these. I mean, I'll admit, I have in fact drank pickle juice. I mean, who hasn't? Have I done it all the time? No. But, yeah. Like I said, they're not good, they're not bad. Even you got that bust of that, pickle flavor stuff, like as if you're drinking pickle juice. That's it. Yeah, I mean, it's officially September, folks. It is officially September. This morning was super, super, super cold. Yeah, super, super cold. So I guess fall is literally around the corner. I literally just bought from Walmart, their, cause it's, when people buy the Pillsbury cookies, the Halloween cookies that have like the ghosts and the pumpkins, they now had a new one, or I just never seen it, where they have a cat design, spooky cat. So last year I bought them, but they ended up expiring before I went to make them. So I'm gonna make them. I'm also gonna try for this year to carve a pumpkin. I have never carved a pumpkin. I have never carved a pumpkin in my life. I've carved a watermelon for Summerween last year. I didn't do Summerween this year because I was going to conventions left and right. Because I went to a convention in June, the Sci-Fi Altoona convention. I went to a convention in South Carolina for what was it? The Southeast Game Exchange. And then I was gonna go do Farley Con, but it was but I couldn't afford the tickets. But it worked out because the people that I wanted to see, which was in Tennessee, ended up being at the South Carolina one. So it worked out for the most part. And so I am going to a convention this month in about 2 weeks. Yeah, the week after next week, is it? Let me double check. No, so next week I'm going to a convention. And it is called the Retro Game Expo. And so I'm going there. And then next month I'm going to another retro place, but it's in Syracuse. The one that I'm just talking about before is in Connecticut. And then there is another one in there's another one in November that's in Rhode Island. Wasn't able to go last year because that was an opportunity that was taken from me. And I didn't want to cause, I didn't want any issues. I didn't want any problems. So I'm going to go this year because I have a mission. I have a reason to be there. So I'm on a mission there. And Just like all these conventions I've gone to because I was on a mission. I was on a mission. When I went to Altoona, Pennsylvania for their Sci-Fi Valley Con, my mission was to get the Twilight um cast there. Only unfortunately I couldn't get Ashley Green. Ashley Green was not there. She had to cancel. But I did get all of the werewolves and the vampires. I just have to get hers. So hopefully one day I'll get hers and have her sign my book. So hopefully one day there'll be a convention where she's there and I can get it. But that was the mission. And then this mission is to try to get as many of the Resident Evil people as I can. Because I can. And I will. And I have a project that is involved in that. I'm not going to give too much away because I have an idea how to execute it. I just don't know if it is effective. But I won't know until I have all the materials that I have. So far, so good. I have an idea of how to execute it, what to say, but I'm trying to get as much as I can. Because I want to turn it into something. Something cool. Yeah. That's my mission. That is my goal. But yeah, that's about it. I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to do what I can. Excuse me. Yeah, that's about it. I think yeah, like I said, I'm going to try, with that coming up, I'm going to try to do a pumpkin this year. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure I've showed a video where I showed that I did this, last year. Yeah. And I'm pretty proud of this one. It's simple. It's not, oh my god, it's crazy. This cat thing I bought from, was it Joann's? I think it was Joann's. And then with Halloween coming up, they already have their Halloween stuff out. Michael's has their Halloween stuff. They had their Halloween stuff before summer even ended. Like, usually in September, that's when they put their Halloween stuff out. No, it was like July, and they were already putting their Halloween stuff out. Like, wow, that's so crazy. Usually by like I said, September is when they take their stuff out. So yeah, here's what I did last year. Like, this was all printed out. This is construction paper. The rest I painted. Same thing with the owl. Like I said, this is just like construction paper and stuff I printed out. This is the owl to bold out the eyes. Here you have, a ghost. Things like that. We have like a spider, but I turned it into like a black widow mostly using acrylic paint pens. And this one's a skull. As you can see, there's construction paper to make it bold up. And of course, these are pumpkins. Same thing. Yeah, these were last year. Yeah, so yeah, I think Halloween. I don't know what I'm gonna do for Halloween this year. De los Muertos. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, these were my favorites. But these were my favorite things to do. But this cat is my all-time favorite one because it looks really cool. Yeah, well, yeah, this is my favorite. I could put a popsicle stick behind it, but I don't want to ruin it. I think it looks good the way it is. Oh my gosh, yeah. So that's about it, yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's all I can think of. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's all I can think of. That's all I can think of. That's all I can think of. But yeah, it's officially September. The autumn is finally coming. It was a very, very hot, oh god, very, very hot summer. It didn't matter where I went, South Carolina, Pennsylvania. Well, Pennsylvania, it wasn't that hot. It was comfortable. It was just the hotel room that I was in was uncomfortable. It was like they weren't putting on their AC. It was like, and it never reached. And even when we had the AC on, it never reached that set temperature. It was like, my God, outside felt better than inside. That's supposed to be the other way around. I still had a good time though, but it was like, come on now. Come on now. But yeah, uh, yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of which, last year I wanted to get two, but I was too late. But I think it worked out well. So last year I bought a collector's edition candy jar or like a candy dish. There you go, a candy dish. And it was in the shape of a black cat for Halloween last year. And so this is from Cheryl's Cookies. And this year they had a new set and you could buy all three of them for like 100, almost like $200 because you can buy them individually, but if you want like the actual set, you could get a pumpkin candy dish, a Frankenstein candy dish, and a ghost candy dish. I went with the pumpkin because the pumpkin looked a lot cuter, so I went with that. Because pumpkins and black cats, they just, yeah, that's about it. This year, like I said, I'm gonna make it a goal to carve a pumpkin. I've never carved a pumpkin before in my life. Never been to a pumpkin patch, so I'm gonna go to a pumpkin patch. Hopefully soon. And then I've carved a watermelon before for Summerween. But like I said, I couldn't do Summerween this year because I was going to Pennsylvania and things like that. Went to Pennsylvania summer Sci-Fi Valley Con. Like I said, I had fun there. Yeah, so gonna do my best to make it a good fall. Because last year I was very, very, very down. It was like 1 minute last year all was going well, the next minute it was like, what the hell? You know. And it kind of messed with my head a bit, you know. It wasn't, you know, because it's like what I said, you know, is it that thing where, and I don't know if everyone goes through it. I don't know if it's a pattern that I myself am going through where I'm going to have one crappy year and 2 good years. I don't know. A lot of people say, well, it only happens because you make it happen. I didn't make the last year turn the way it did, you know. That was simply like I said, it was like 1 minute was fine and the next minute is like, what the heck? What happened? I didn't see this coming. I thought everything was good. I thought everything was fine. It was like the rug was pulled out from under me. I'm not going to go any details of it, but it was just like, last year for me was a shit show. It was the same thing when back in 2021, that was also a shit show, which made me think like, oh, it's that pattern. You know, it looks like I'm experiencing a pattern. Because in 2021, yeah, that was all that came out of nowhere. That messed with my head for a bit. Same thing with last year, that messed here with a bit. And I had just turned 30 last year. I turned 31 this year. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, so like I said, I'm gonna do my best to do pumpkin carving this year. Oh, I also want to see if I can do it. So back in the day, I don't know if many of you have seen it or remember this, but back in the day, Betty Crocker had given it was like bacon fill or fill and bake, which it was like a seen on TV product by Betty Crocker, where you can make dome cakes, or you had a choice to make a dome cake. So it was, you had the main foundation, and then you had this sort of cavity, which when you put the batter in to the foundation of it, you then put that cavity on it, and that makes that go into like a cone. So when you bake it, it bakes around it, making a hole, and you can fill that hole with gelatin, things of that nature, or you can fill it with another cake. If you want to do so, you have to put that on top of that one, and then pour the other batter you want to put into that cavity, and then you have the other pan that's more like the kind of like the base, they called it, or like the what closes it. So you have the base pan, the cavity pan, and then you have that final piece, that sort of top. You have the top. There you go. In some cases, you can do. In some cases, I say you don't want to do that. You don't have to put that cavity on. In some cases, you have the dome one, so you can make a shape of a baseball or whatever you want to call it, or whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to bake. So I'm thinking about buying that. Apparently, you can find it on Amazon. You can find it on eBay. Buying it and seeing if I can make a Frankenstein cake. I'm debating or not whether to get a mold of a brain, a silicone mold of a brain, and put gelatin in it so it can form it and I can put it into that cake, into that cavity, or just fill it up with pink batter or another pink cake in it. And there's his. I made a Frankenstein's brain. What was it? That episode of Rugrats. Oh, I'm feeling Frankenstein's brain. Was it Frankenstein or the Booger Man? They call it the Boogeyman, but they call it the Booger Man. The Booger Man. Either way, I want to see if I can do that. I'm debating on whether or not Jello would work, because you can fill it up with Jello, but I don't know if I would want Jello combined with cake. I don't know. So I might just do another cake batter. I don't know. We'll see. But that's something I would like. And then frosted up. That's something I would like. I would like to do that. I'm gonna see if I can. If I don't, it's alright. At least I know. I don't know. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see if I can. That would be kind of cool. A Frankenstein cake. And it's been on my mind, and I have an idea how to do it. I just don't know if it's going to turn out the way I see it in my head. You know how that is. You think about something, you visualize something, and it just doesn't get quite there. But, yeah. So, gonna see what I can do. But, yeah, that's about it. Yeah, this is just, rambling a video about me rambling about stuff. I don't know. Talking about plans and stuff. But, yeah. So you guys have a good rest of your day, and, we finally made it to October. It's finally fall, or close to being fall. Either way, it's around the corner. And it's cold. But that's fine. I'll take cold over hot. Yeah, so, see you around.